What's up? We're preparing for Stage 3 of RDS Open at the Moscow Raceway. We've modified our car once again. We'll get into that in due time. We have no idea what'll come out of it.
If I may ask, the race is tomorrow. Why is the car torn apart?
Because it used to be in one piece. It drove well. We figured we had a working setup. And we thought we'd try a setup that doesn't work and make it work somehow. We've replaced the old rack that had 3 electric power steering pumps with an electric power steering rack.
And you don't know how it's going to behave.
No idea whatsoever. And the fun part about this whole thing is that quickly reverting to the old setup is pretty much impossible.
So if during practice something goes...
If something goes wrong, we'll try to dial everything in and make it work. Just like last year. Even better, I'd say.
So we're in for an interesting event.
Oh yeah. I mean, we have already won 2 trophies at 2 races. From the looks of it, we've nailed it, the car works.
But we got tired of winning.
Yeah, the excitement was gone. The last 2 races we didn't touch anything, but now we can knock ourselves out. Anatoly said to me that he's had enough. Might as well make his seat time count and conduct some research. Into steering racks. As a matter of fact, we're supposed to leave today and not tomorrow. Because the practice session is tomorrow. But since we've decided to make this challenging and do the Moscow Raceway event on hard mode, we're skipping day 1 of practice and fitting a new steering rack. We'll try removing the old system in such a way so that we can quickly put it back in. It's not that I don't have faith in electric power steering. Motorsport is motorsport.
If the electric power steering fails, we can quickly revert to the old setup?
Yep.
Is the electric power steering rack in?
The rack is in, everything works in here, but I want to go test it out on the track. I like it. So here I am driving, and then I remember, like, damn it, I was supposed to test the steering. And so I did, and I like the way it drives. It really wants to stay on center. When you turn the wheel in, you can feel the resistance. Turn back on center. If you forget you're driving a race car, I mean, my Skoda feels similar. It's just like any other car. Suffering is unnecessary.
Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural.
We are en route.
On the road for 3 days. We are finally on our way. And we picked the best possible time for driving on the Moscow Ring Road. Rush hour, 6 p.m. It's 30 degrees Celsius outside. The AC is barely working. Otherwise, this is lovely.
Glad we are on the road.
Preparing for a new and exciting adventure.
Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been testing so much, all these wrestlers nice. All these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a Benzo.
Practice day. Steering isn't stabilizing. It won't stay stable in a drift. Contact patch is the same as before. But you don't have that angle to keep the wheel in check. The wheels are trying to straighten out, and the car wants to get away from me. I got a feeling this shift really changed the driving dynamics. Let's dial it back. So you said there's some leeway over here. Yeah, but it's less than in an S13. But you can move it deeper into here, right? Yeah, well, into this area. So we got about 3 left. Yeah, but if... And we can move the lower part forward, right? Hear me out, dude. From there, as you can imagine, the rod is going to be lodged into this piece, but we can move it even further down. Position the strut like so. But that's a whole different story. I'm aiming for this area, so in an S14 we can also bring it to here, but you're moving it here like in an S13, right? Because the S13 strut tower goes like this. Is it all S13s or just towers? No idea. I can check on my SX. But in this car, we can bring it all the way to here. Yep. So apparently we can extend the front end. Sure. On an S15. S15, S14, there's more space inside the strut towers, so an S15 is better than an S13. Evidently. Yeah, I guess we can try reducing the caster. Right, let's measure the Ackerman angle then. Can you give me some tape? The S15 contact patch looked better to me. It wasn't on the edge in that car. But here it is, as you can see. Remember when we were working on the S15? It wasn't even close to standing on the edge. That was a completely different situation. It could be down to different length and position of the control arms. The fore and aft position might have been different. Something's not right. This seems to have too much caster. Dude, I'm telling you. The position of the control arms in that car might have been different. Maybe it had more negative camber? That's also a possibility. But this, I mean, it looks wrong. We can reduce the camber. Yeah, we should try adjusting the caster. 62? But the actual steering angle is 65 degrees. Because the baseline is 2 as it is, right? 47? But it's 65 on that side. Yeah. At another 4, seems like a bit much. I mean... And the car handles weird regardless. Perhaps a return to some reasonable values? It won't drive the way I want. Looks like it's back to square one. We can move the control arms back. Let's reduce the caster. And move the suspension arms back. The R&D department at work. Apparently we have too much caster, and that needs to be remedied. Anatoly in his natural habitat. Whenever there was any commotion during the last few events, he was half asleep. You remember that, right? But now look at him go. The car is being thrown around, but the steering wheel wants to stay on center. It won't even budge. Give me a sec.
Bless you.
So you don't say. You know what? We can try really cranking up the caster. That'll improve the dynamics, but that will come at a price. This is giving me a nervous tick, make up your mind. Or we can move it forward, I mean, if it's that bad, let's just shift the wheels forward. We can't go too far that way. We're limited by the body kit. So we're already too far forward as it is, right? I'd imagine the steering is going to bind. Honestly, I think the strut towers... I mean, we had a setup that worked decently enough. Why aren't we going with it? Getting used to it is going to be a headache. We're way better off just dialing in the caster. The lateral angles are now totally different. Might as well bring it back to baseline. I have no idea how you're going to get the settings right. Anatoly has no idea. That's something new. Especially when it comes to setting up the car. Because we're running a completely different steering rack. And that's the only reason. The caster wasn't a factor in the S15. What are you talking about? That's just not true, man. Forget about the S15 for now. When the caster was cranked up, you complained that it wasn't working. Anyway, is the placement of the steering rack about the same? It's in exactly the same spot. Right, so you got the steering rack. But the suspension tuning is different compared to last year. You had this, I mean... We did move it around to suit a specific racetrack. And we shifted the wheels back and forth. Or rather, last year we stopped doing that. Because until a point, we were constantly playing around with the tuning. But we found a working solution and stuck with it. I take it what you're getting at is we need to roll back the suspension settings. Yep, and go for a test drive. Let's just calm down and come to a consensus. I suggest we try the old suspension settings. I don't see any other way. Otherwise, we're going to be on edge, and tomorrow we'll... I would like to replace the tires that are on the car, though. We have about half an hour. That's enough time to restore the old setup. We can very well replace the wheels. It's just that... I'm still trying to figure out whether we increase or reduce the caster. Also, I feel like the camber might have been off. Perhaps. That might be causing issues. It's behaving totally differently. Because of the rack, we had to increase the track. If we narrow it back, we'll lose tie rod adjustability. I reckon we can reduce the camber, throw those wheels on, and try it out. That's the way to go, I think. Adjust the camber, fit those wheels, and go for a test drive. Do you want to fit the spacers? We don't have a choice, we have to fit the spacers. Let's throw those wheels on right now. Sure, see what that does for us. I've got one bolt left. After we removed the electric power steering pumps. I am closer than ever to winning that 5 grand. I can almost hear the rustle of that 5,000 ruble banknote. Though I'd prefer 5,000 ruble bills. We are ready. We need to move the fronts forward, by 2 centimeters. Perhaps leave it alone until after qualifying? Who cares, dude, it won't make any difference. Doesn't matter. We just need to move the front end forward. Let's do that after qualifying. Oh, come on, please? I don't like how it accelerates. Pretty please? We'll do whatever you want, but after qualifying, okay? The current setup makes it more difficult for me to drive. Without the sway bar, I can't quite go wide enough in some spots. But the rear end feels way too stiff with the sway bar in place. I hear ya. It's jumping around too much. But when it still had the hydraulic pumps, everything was fine. Your speed was good. You were hitting the clips. After removing the pumps, it became darty. And after removing the sway bar, it became smooth once again. Look, man, you're the engineer. It's your call. My call? We need to move the front end forward. I mean, the rear end, I think we should drop slightly. I'm gonna go get some dinner. My work here is done. Day 1 of the race, qualifying. Alex, that felt sublime. The steering is unbelievably sharp. It feels like the car is on rails, but I barely have enough strength. In some spots, I have to give it all I've got. There's always a trade-off. Yeah, but otherwise that felt great. Very nice. You owe me 5 stacks, Anatoly. So we removed the weight. 1257. Right. So no bathroom breaks for you today. I've got some cash in my car. Did you see, though? I didn't have to correct in the slightest. You might have trouble while following. No, man, following is gonna be impossible. I thought we could play with the caster, but first we should qualify. Yeah, let's leave it alone. In the lead, use the 3rd setting, while following, engage the 2nd one. Inputs won't require as much force, and you won't get in trouble for correcting. Sounds like a plan. I gather we're not the only ones. After qualifying, can we measure how much the steering rack moves? We're just measuring. We are not changing the settings. Don't touch anything. I really like the weight balance. So our work here is done. Think of it like a locomotive that's on fire. It's careening down the tracks, and whatever happens, happens. We've potentially won qualifying, but where this actually goes, I don't know. But on the other hand, yesterday we didn't even know if we can get the car to work. And we did. During practice we got a few nice and accurate runs in. His line was definitely on point. Don't know about everything else, but his line was good. Anatoly himself is happy, he's walking around smiling, and that in itself is the ultimate reward. And we're not all that stressed out. Rolling up to the starting line, we have another contender from Moscow. Anatoly Sherbak, who replaced a hydraulic rack with 3 electric pumps with a single BMW electric power steering rack. And still wasn't satisfied, curiously enough. And here we go, the 200SX has 150 meters to get up to speed, and that is a dramatic initiation. Looks like he might have slightly gone off course, but he's able to hit touch and goes 1, 2, and 3. And as far as we can tell watching the broadcast, he's moving along smoothly and without correcting. Anatoly Sherbak going past touch and go 5, here he is at 6, where he slightly increases his angle, there he goes again. And now he's at touch and go 7, 8, and 9. And what an aggressive transition, which was totally unnecessary. And there's the score. -2 points for going off course. It was 1 wheel. In Sector 3, yum. And in Sector 3, -6.5 for angle. 82.5 for that run. Now it's Anatoly Sherbak's turn. Anatoly Sherbak, who is up there in the rankings. Indeed he is, and here we go. Once again, he initiates pretty aggressively. He's able to hit 1, 2, and 3, and look at how his angle just increased. Interesting. Anyway, from there he hits touch and go 4, his angle slightly decreases. He transitions into touch and go 6, which he hits. 7 and 8 I also think he'll grab. His 200SX stays on course. And that final transition looked really sharp. He's able to hit 9 and 10. That angle was fucking impressive, dude, like holy fucking shit. Over there, you mean? At the start, yeah. That touch and go 4? Yep, no, I mean at the very start. That was one hell of a run, dude. You were going full bonsai. I mean, I was pissed. I chucked the car into touch and go 4 and I was like, okay, here we go. Then I got on the gas and pulled through. The way you took that curve was fucking epic. You were right on the line. You mean the one in the middle? Yep. Where they have the runoff area. You were right on the white line. I don't know how many points they'll give you, but that was awesome. I was seriously pissed. Alright, so a few minor mistakes. Oh yeah, nothing severe. A tiny bit removed here and there. Yes, he did correct in Sector 3, and quite seriously. 3 times, as we're being told by Stanislav Dolgih. Losing half a point for each time, but that's still 90 plus, and we have a new best in qualifying. Let's have a look. Quickly do the math. 28 for line, 32 for angle, and 34... 94 points overall. And first place in the pro category for qualifying. That looks alright. We were aiming to score 90 plus, and we did. I wanted to try another experiment. Put the car onto the pavement. And check how much steering lock we have. The point where I can't push any further. Then remove the sway bar and try the same thing again. To see whether it has any effect or not.
Slide the whip, grab the key, yeah we gone. Life good, what you need, more than you got.
Day 2 of the event, tandem drifting. We're in day 3, we got 3rd place in qualifying. Today there was a practice session, and of course they changed all of the settings. Anatoly and Sasha while I was absent. I didn't have any part in that. Today we are feeling fresh and ready for the competition. We begin from the top 16 and hopefully things go well. We're going through the top 32 via a bye-run, with there being fewer than 32 contenders. And so no contest, we go straight to the top 16. But we very well might have to compete with our arch-rival at this point, Mr. Bakhvalov. And this would be the 3rd time we're up against him. I mean, they still have to figure it out with Gubin, but there is a possibility for us to get back at him. So far it's 1 victory each. No, Sasha, it's the overall dynamics. You want to go out with no sway bar? Just leave it as it is. It's actually more stable. You know, before, leading up to the finish line, when at a small angle the car would snap back and I'd miss the clip. But now it is much mellower. It straightens out slowly and smoothly. Opulently? I'm still getting used to the weight of the wheel. You expect one thing, but you get something different. I mean, the angles are all off, but it feels peculiar. Which is what you wanted, right? At least it isn't ripping the wheel from my hands. The rack was in the third setting. We are back at the racetrack, where the next pair is preparing to go out. Anatoly Sherbak, who is up against Egor Gubin. And I cannot wait to see how this plays out. These are two capable contenders who were looking pretty good during practice. And right now the pilot from Moscow driving the E92 BMW is going to lead the chase. Anatoly Sherbak, who's driving his S14 200SX, actually requested to be in the follow position. And oh my goodness, check out the leader's initiation. Did a tire unseat itself on Egor Gubin's car? We'll be paying close attention because to me it seemed like that's exactly what happened. I could be mistaken, of course. Maybe he just hit the sand and that's why the color of his tire changed. Oh, no, it's on the rim. Egor Gubin is still in the race, making a valiant effort given the dire circumstances. You get confused by the smoke coming out from that wheel. That's because the tire has not fully evacuated the rim. Anatoly Sherbak's performance in the chase was tremendous. Bravo. And even though a tire did unseat itself during the initiation, Egor Gubin saw that round through to the end. Props to him for that, but now his opponent has got a pretty serious advantage over him. This time Anatoly Sherbak is in the lead with Egor Gubin chasing, and that was a deep dive by Anatoly Sherbak. And it would seem as if Gubin anticipated that, and Anatoly seems to have forgotten to assume an angle. Egor Gubin in the meantime is following without even breaking a sweat. Now obviously he does have to keep his distance in certain spots with the leader's inconsistent driving to avoid a collision. Here things went smoothly, if we ignore touch and go 9 that was missed by Anatoly Sherbak. And now we look at the results, and it is a one more time. We are eagerly anticipating the green light, and there it is. Egor Gubin is leading, Anatoly Sherbak is chasing. The cars are getting up to speed, and this time things are going better for Egor Gubin and worse for Anatoly Sherbak. He gives his opponent's E92 a nudge. But the round continues. Anatoly Sherbak is super aggressive, transitioning into a wider angle in Sector 3. The distance between them increases right around touch and go 8, with Anatoly Sherbak catching up by touch and go 9. Now as soon as the light goes green, and there it is. Here we go, Anatoly Sherbak is leading. Egor Gubin is following, and we have another intense battle on our hands, with Sherbak pulling off the same move that Gubin made in the lead during their first battle, with one of his wheels going off course. Egor Gubin, meanwhile, calmly but about a car's length behind, watched that unfold. He catches up by Sector 3, which makes sense. It is a long bend where you can conveniently catch up. But from there, the two fall out of step. Alright, so OMT. Vladimir Safonov has Sherbak winning, and an OMT. Put that back on. First tell me. First get back in the car, I'll show you out there. I'm burning up, dude. We are eagerly anticipating the start and the resolution of this rivalry. Who is going to win, Anatoly Sherbak or Egor Gubin? And as always, if it's another OMT, then Anatoly Sherbak will win based on qualifying results, with him being third overall. And here we go, Egor Gubin in the lead. Anatoly Sherbak chose to follow first. And look at how Egor Gubin just initiated. Anatoly was keeping his distance in the first turn. His front axle washes out slightly, but he continues. Transitions more or less in step out of touch and go 5, going for 6. Egor Gubin misses 7. Anatoly Sherbak gets lost in the smoke, but carries on. And the gap between the two cars keeps growing. What is it with Anatoly? And now let's see how Anatoly handles the role of leader while Yegor Gubin chases him. This will definitely be their last run, there cannot be more than 2 OMTs. They initiate, Yegor Gubin dives right in at a smaller angle. They transition in step. Yegor Gubin carefully increases his angle, adapting to the leader's pace and driving style. They transition once again in step, and at least one of Anatoly's wheels goes off. Yegor Gubin is chasing. One synchronized transition, another one. Yegor Gubin is right next to him, ending the round at a wider angle. Terrific. That was good. And Yegor is declared the winner. You went a bit too hard. Yeah, I didn't want to go too narrow. We lost because of the wheel off? It was a factor. Wheel off and a clip. We had a good run. Oh, f*** yeah. We ran out of tires. I need to work on precision. I gotta practice. We should put the sway bar back in. I'm not even upset. The competition was solid. We've done a lot of driving. It's always the most exciting when the battles are concurrent.
You think it's because of how the car is set up? Or because of the electric power steering conversion?
I think we just need to get used to the current setup. And that's it. So that it's not a nuisance for Anatoly. The third time around, he sort of lost the plot. I mean, he was going off course where he shouldn't have been. Where he wasn't going off before. These things happen, I mean, he looks happy. Which is what matters. It would have been nice to win and continue competing. But that was a serious competitor and we had fun. I need to practice more and work on my precision. You seem to have fallen short in the lead. I got some good runs in, but it's a challenging track. It is not easy to hit the clips. For that clip I overcorrected. My angle was too narrow, and I was early to get on throttle. I was sloppy in that spot. It happens. That battle was proper, thanks man. What tire pressures were you running? 0.5 atmospheres. I was at 0.8 for the second battle. I noticed I had too much grip during the first round, and so I increased it. But you were at 0.5 the entire way, right? Yeah, I decided to keep it consistent. I was having trouble catching up to you. I'd fall behind slightly and fail to catch up. Was it easier for you to catch up? I tried to stay close while initiating, but you were also pulling away. I had to cut corners and so on. It's not an easy track. It's interesting. Thanks. Thank you. Best of luck. This race ended for us at the top 16 stage, but the race to improve the car's handling continues. We've done a lot of work. It hasn't been in vain, because the steering held up 2 OMTs in a row, also a bunch of practice and tuning runs, but we still have work to do. We've come up with a list of things to make the car more compliant. The plan is to keep the electric power steering, because it seems to operate just as well. But it's a better solution in terms of weight balance and reliability, as it's just one unit. No supplementary systems. But the team is in good spirits, we conducted that experiment, and the new setup works, which is cool. I mean, it could have just failed and we would have been sitting here with long faces. Us not getting past the top 16, well, this is motorsport. Somebody has to lose after all. But those were epic battles, and this is a competitive series. Nobody just gets eliminated without a fight. Some don't get past qualifying. I think something's wrong with their toe angle. This actually happens all the time. Sergei Korneyev is a beast, he has a no-chill. Valery Bogacharov also went through 1 billion OMTs. But everything is great, the weather is lovely. Next event is Nizhny Novgorod. Hopefully Anatoly doesn't surprise me with anything. I will surprise him with a new subframe though, and we'll reinforce the one we have. And thanks for watching, subscribe, hit the bell, and tell us what you want us to share with you.